Guys, Kendra and William here. We are in Boston. We are getting ready to take the Freedom Trail. We want to take you along with us. We are doing some other stuff in Boston, but that's going to be in a separate video because I think the Freedom Trail is probably going to be a full-on video. So depending on what website you go on online, there is between 16 and 23. Yep. We have papers. See? We have papers to follow. So 16 to 23 different stops along the way of Paul Revere's great ride. So we are going to, I took all the suggestions on online, and I went ahead and went with 19 stops. So if there's more that you've ever stopped on, that's cool. Add them down below in the comments. But this is what we have chose to do, and we want to take you along with us.
We are starting. Right behind us is the visitor center in the Boston Commons, and so this it's marked by a red brick pathway, 2 bricks wide. It runs from just outside the Boston Common Visitor Center to the Bunker Hill Monument in Charlestown, all the way up to the Bunker Hill Monument in the north end. So our first stop is right here in the Boston Commons, as serving as the starting point to the Freedom Trail. This beautiful central public park dates back to 1634, making it the oldest city park in the United States. From 1634 to 1830, the Boston Common was used as a common space for grazing of cattle, and is now a place for visitors and locals to meet up with friends, relax, and enjoy a day in the park.
So here we go. So we've also seen some of these already along the trail. Boston Commons is pretty hopping little place. Oh my goodness, look at this little guy. Hey!
He's got his acorn.
He's got stuff to do today. Whenever we were walking down to the visitor center, we found this whole group of people over there. Oh no, they're done already. So this group of adults over there, they were playing Duck Duck Goose, and I had not seen adults playing Duck Duck Goose ever.
Shall we lay out squirrels?
I can appreciate that person's hustle, trying to get a couple bucks to sell us some peanuts to feed the squirrels. Honest hustle, right? No one said that the Freedom Trail was all uphill. So this appears to be stop number 2. I'm going to have William tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so we have the Massachusetts State House. Built in 1798, this is where the state legislature meets and is the oldest continually running state capitol building in America. The dome was originally made of wood, and in 1802 it was covered in copper by Paul Revere. It is currently gilded in 23 karat gold. That was for our nation's 100th birthday in 1876.
Continuing on to our next stop. We turn right. Let's see what we find next. Well, that wasn't very far away.
So right across from the Massachusetts State House is the Robert Gould Shaw Memorial. Across the street you will be at the Robert Gould Shaw Memorial, which shows Gould Shaw and his men of the 54th Regiment of the Union Army. The 54th Regiment is the first of all African American unit in the U.S. Army, which was formed in 1863 during the American Civil War. The The 1989 film Glory tells the story of the 54th Regiment and stars Matthew Broderick as Colonel Robert Gould Shaw.
I added that little bit so we will remember to watch that movie. It's really cool. So that was a little bit confusing. We did not cross all the way over to the State House. We just talked about it looking from this side of the street, and then we were supposed to cross back to go to the monument. So we got a little turned around, but then we're going back down through the Boston Commons again. My goodness, look at this tree. That's pretty cool. I'm like, squirrel, something that's got my attention. That blue roof over there is really cool. It's got like a spiral with the shell. So just continuing on down through here, and we will get to
Next stop is Park Street Church.
Park Street Church. So we made it to the church.
Yes, so we're here at Park Street Church, built in 1809. Park Street Church is an active congregational church in downtown Boston. And while it has a strong theological history, it is probably best known for its role in the social justice and human rights. This congregation was among the first to grapple with prison reform, education, women's suffrage, and anti-slavery. This church was the first site of the first Sunday school in the United States in 1818, and the church choir sang for the first time ever in public on July 4th, 1831, the song, "My Country, 'Tis of Thee."
Continuing on. Everybody takes this trail at their own pace. They have lots of guided trails. So you can pay somebody to take you. There's some on your phone. There's a duck boat. We're going to do the duck boat here in Boston tomorrow. There is the Suffolk University Law School. Not in our 19 list, but just interesting with that curve.
Okay, here we are at the Granary Burying Ground. The Granary Burying Ground is the city of Boston's third oldest cemetery, founded in 1660. It is the final resting place of many noble Revolutionary War era patriots, including Paul Revere, which is depicted right here, the 5 victims of the Boston Massacre, and the 3 signers of the Declaration of Independence, Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and the parents and siblings of Benjamin Franklin. The cemetery has 2,345 grave markers, but historians estimate that as many as 5,000 people are buried in it.
Doing that much video and filming in cemeteries, so here's a quick overview, and then whenever we find some famous ones, I'll add some photos. So windy, but just wanted to show you the Omni Parker House. This is what they say where the Parker House rolls were invented. The next stop is King's Chapel.
On Burying Ground. Founded in 1686 as Boston's first Anglican church, King's Chapel is home to over 330 years of history. This 1754 granite building still stands on the church's original site, the corner of King's Chapel Burying Ground, Boston's oldest English burying ground, estimated 1630. The stone church was built around the original wooden church, which was built in 1688. And then the wood from the church was carefully disassembled, and the wood and glass were shipped to Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, and rebuilt to construct St. John's Anglican Church. King's Chapel is free and open to the public for self-guided tours, and it's worth going inside. Although the church looks a bit plain on the outside, inside it is ornate, and you can grab a self-guided tour information pamphlet at the entrance of the church to help guide you through this wonderful stop. There's also a burial ground where you could find the frame of Mary Chilton, the first woman to step foot off the Mayflower. Okay, we're at stop number 7 on the Boston Freedom Trail. This is a marker for the Boston Latin School. It was the oldest school in America. It was founded in 1635 and still in operation today. The school's current location is near Fenway Park. The monument for the school is in the design of a hopscotch game. Some of its famous students include Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, Sam Adams, and John Adams, just to name a few. There's a Benjamin Franklin statue on the grounds.
And there's the Benjamin Franklin statue. Good job. I mean, if you see a hopscotch game, you should probably play hopscotch. Continuing on.
Okay, now we're inside the gate. Right over there is the statue of Ben Franklin. And this is stop number 8. Benjamin Franklin statue and the former site of Boston Latin School, now Old City Hall. Founded on April 23rd, 1635, it is the oldest public school in America. It offered free education to boys, rich or poor, while girls attended private schools at home. Until the completion of the schoolhouse in 1645, classes were held in the home of the first headmaster, Philemon Formont. A mosaic and a statue of the former student, Benjamin Franklin, currently marks the location of the original schoolhouse. Currently, the old City Hall, established in 1865, stands in place of the schoolhouse and now serves as office and commercial space.
And there is a statue of
Josiah Quincy. I don't know what significance he had to this.
doesn't say anything that tells us. And here is a really cool donkey. It tells you to, okay, here, hold this. I don't know. But your feet are supposed to be like this. I don't know. I was just doing what the feet say. I'm not sure. Okay, I guess I should have read the sign before I was just standing on it and posing with the donkey. But we don't talk politics here. It was just a donkey. And our next stop is the
Old South Meeting House. Built in 1729, Old South Meeting House is a historic church building that gained fame as the organizing point for the Boston Tea Party on December 16, 1773. 5,000 or more colonists gathered at the meeting house, the largest building in Boston at the time. This church is where the Sons of Liberty departed from a meeting on December 16, 1773, and dumped 242 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor, the famous Boston Tea Party. The clock tower was restored in 2009 and is the oldest American-made clock in the U.S., which is still in operation, 1766, in its original location. The bell tower houses a bell cast by Paul Revere in 1801. It is one of only 46 surviving bells he made. The bell resides at several locations around Boston and was placed at the old Meeting House bell tower in 2011.
They fit 5,000 people in that building. I mean, I'm not sure it really fits 5,000 people. They were crammed in there, so.
Our next site is the Old Corner Bookstore. On the corner of Washington and School Street is one of Boston's oldest brick structures and was the site of the Old Corner Bookstore. Constructed in 1712, the Old Corner Bookstore is downtown Boston's oldest commercial building and was home to the 19th century publishing giant Ticknor and Fields, producer of many venerable American titles including Thoreau's Walden's, Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, Longfellow's Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, and the Atlantic Monthly including Ward Howe's Battle Hymn of the Republic. Saved from demolition in 1960, the building's lease helped subsidize important historic preservation projects in Boston's neighborhoods. The bookstore was famous for meetings on the second floor by the likes of Nathaniel Hawthorne, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Charles Dickens would meet and discuss poetry, politics, and literature. It is now the site of Chipotle.
But look at those glass windows up at the top. Like, that is some old glass work. See if I can zoom in on that for you all. So cool.
Hola, Manolo.
So here's our next stop. It is the Old State House. We're going to go around to the front. Talk about being tired, walking on all these different different types of ground. My ankles are tired.
We are now at the Old State House. This was the center of civic life in colonial Boston and was where folks like Sam Adams and James Otis would argue against the policies of the British Crown. On the front of the building is a balcony where in 1776 the Declaration of Independence was read for the first time and caused a mini riot during which the lion and unicorn would sit on top of the Old State House were ripped down and burnt. The gilded lion and unicorn were put back up on the Old State House in 1883 when the building was refurbished. Every July 4th at 10 a.m. the Declaration of Independence is read from that balcony.
So cool. So right here under the Old State House, we find this monument.
On the walkway in front of the Old State House is the monument for the 5 victims killed on March 5th, 1770, known as the Boston Massacre, which took place during the middle of what is now called State Street, formerly known as King Street. In the center of the monument is a 5-pointed star signifying the 5 deaths, enclosed by 6 cobblestones signifying the 6 wounded that night. And stretching from the center are 13 cobblestone spokes representing the original 13 colonies. Opened in 1743, Faneuil Hall was the site of several speeches by Samuel Adams, James Otis, and others encouraging independence from Great Britain. Now it is a shopping center with many stores and restaurants comprising 3 historic market buildings and a promenade. Follow the trail to the Cradle of Liberty, Faneuil Hall, 1742. This building, which was given to the city of Boston by rich merchant Peter Faneuil, is famous for the meetings and protests that led to the American Revolution. Notice the grasshopper on top of the building. I haven't seen the grasshopper. His name is Gus, was copied from the grasshopper on the London Royal Exchange building and was chosen as a sign of prosperity. We were at the back of Faneuil Hall looking at that where the statue of Samuel Adams is. We had to come around to the front to where the bell tower is, and up there on the top where the weather vane is, you can see the grasshopper that I was speaking of earlier.
We're continuing down Union Street.
Yes, follow the Freedom Trail down Union Street. Notice the Union Oyster House, the oldest restaurant in the United States, and down Hanover Street into our North End Little Italy neighborhood. The trail winds down Richmond Street to North Square. In North Square sits the oldest structure in Boston, the Paul Revere House, 1680. Paul Revere lived for 30 years, from 1770 to 1800.
So here is the Union Oyster House.
It says it's the oldest restaurant in America.
Kind of tempting to go in there.
Here we are. This is Paul Revere's house with the nice little stained glass windows. It is now a museum that you can visit where you can learn about the man and his famous ride to signal to the Patriots that the Redcoats were coming. Stop 15. Follow the trail to the Paul Revere Grotto and you will be at one of the most photographed statues in Boston. The Paul Revere statue, which sits in the shadow of the church which made him famous, the Old North Church. The statue was designed by Cyrus Edwin Dolan in 1883, and he spent 16 years working on it until 1899. The statue was not displayed until 1940. Cyrus Dolan created 260 works over his life, and a few of his most famous sculptures are the Angel Moroni, which sits on top of the Salt Lake City Temple in Utah, and also the Appeal to the Great Spirits sculpture in front of Boston's Museum of Fine Arts. Dolan died in 1944.
And fun fact, Paul Revere's horse from that fateful night was named
Brown Beauty. The Old North Church, officially Church or Christ Church in the city of Boston, is the location from which the famous "one if by land, two if by sea" signal is said to have been sent. This phrase is related to Paul Revere's midnight ride of April 18, 1775, which preceded the battles of Lexington and Concord, starting the American Revolution. So this is where he put like the two lanterns in the window.
yeah, so they signaled him what to go do.
We are at Copp's Hill Burying Ground, named after shoemaker William Copp, originally named North Burying Ground. The cemetery was established in 1659, making it the city's second oldest cemetery. It's one of Boston's most important cemeteries and the final resting place of many early Bostonians, including the Puritan ministers Cotton Mather and his father Increase Mather, Shimdrown, who made the grasshopper weather vane on top of Faneuil Hall, as well as the banner weather vane on top of the Old North Church. Robert Newman, who hung the lanterns in the steeple of the Old North the night of Paul Revere's ride, and Prince Hall, the first African-American Mason and founder of the Prince Hall Masons.
And we are here a little later in the afternoon, so a little bit after 3 p.m. and it is already locked up. So after tons and tons of walking, we have crossed the, what was that bridge's name?
I don't recall what the name of the bridge was.
So we crossed the bridge and we have walked and walked and walked. We went through 2 parks, past a really cool fountain that's not running because it is November, and we have made it here to the U.S. Constitution Shipyard.
The Boston Naval Shipyard.
So if you continue straight, there's the USS Constitution Museum. But we are going over here to see if we can get on Old Ironside herself. We got here a little late, but it's okay. We might come back over here next Saturday because I actually do want to go up into the Bunker Hill Monument. And we do have time whenever we get back into town. But let's go ahead and finish our tour.
So this is the USS Constitution, also known as Gould Ironsides. The USS Constitution is a wooden-hulled 3-mast heavy frigate of the United States Navy. She is the world's oldest commissioned naval vessel still afloat. She was launched in 1797, one of 6 original frigates authorized for construction by the Naval Act of 1794, and the 3rd constructed. The name Constitution was among 10 names submitted by President George Washington, by Secretary of War Timothy Pickering in March of 1795 for the frigates that were ordered to be constructed. Joshua Humphreys designed the frigates to be the young Navy's capital ships, and so Constitution and her sister ships were larger and more heavily armed and built than standard frigates of the period. She was built at Edmund Hart's shipyard in the north end of Boston, Massachusetts. Her first duties were to provide protection for American merchant shipping during the Quasi-War with France and to defeat the Barbary pirates in the First Barbary War. It earned the name Old Ironsides because the ship was so strong, it is made of wood, that the cannonballs from British ships would bounce harmlessly off its sides.
Well, it is beautiful. So just depending on the weather, because we are flying to London and then we will be coming back to the area, so hopefully we can get back over here. So walking around over in Charlestown, we've been having a good time looking at these gas lights. So they're all over the place. And apparently their thing is to put signs on each one of the awesome poles. So it takes away a little bit of how beautiful they are. But pretty much every one of them has some sort of sign strapped to it. But on a positive note, we made it
To the Washington Monument. No, it's not. It's just an obelisk, like the Washington Monument. This is the Bunker Hill Monument.
So they are in restoration of it. I think it's supposed to be done at the, so they got the scaffolding up and then they were starting on it, and it was supposed to be done at the end of this year, to my understanding. However, the stuff up at the very top, the new mortar or filling that they have to put in it is very temperature problematic. So each layer that they're putting in, they have to wait until the temperature's right and then put the layer in and then wait on it to dry for so long. And it is Boston in November, so it is going to take a long time to get all that. But it's still pretty. Oh my goodness, guys, so exciting. So I thought that the last climb was already done, but we walked up because I just wanted to walk over and check the physical times it was printed before we came back over here next weekend to do it. and it said that they closed at 4:30, which meant the last climb was at 4:30, and it is 4:19. So they let us in, and here we go. It's how many steps?
200 and something you told me.
294. And so I'm gonna quit talking for a minute and just go on up.
Feel the burn.
Looks to be a platform. I like it whenever places number some steps for us.
See the bottom of the next set of stairs.
Duct tape. So, yeah, scary.
Almost 220.
You're almost there. You got this. You got it. You got it. It's a pretty cool view, so. Oh,
There's motivation coming from up above.
you got this. You can do it. You're almost there. I just think they used to have an elevator. Yes, right?
There's a bench at the top.
There is. Do you see how it's there, or is it stuck?
Yeah.
Here's 200.
All you can see is the screen. Sorry, people, we tried. We might cut that out of the video. No.
We're real YouTube around here.
This is really gonna hurt tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Look, they're still decorated for Halloween, and it's November. $225. Ooh, that breeze coming in feels good. Step 275, y'all. Hope y'all are feeling the burn too. These steps are getting more narrow as the outer walls are coming in closer to the center. Look at that. Step 294. You made it. Okay, we're at the Bunker Hill Monument. It was erected to commemorate the Battle of Bunker Hill, which was among the first major battles between British and Patriot forces in the American Revolutionary War, fought there in June 17, 1775. The 221-foot granite obelisk was erected between 1825 and 1843, with granite from nearby Quincy conveyed to the site via the purpose-built granite railway, followed by a trip by barge. There are 294 steps to the top. The monument was dedicated on June 17, 1843, 68 years after the famous battle took place.
This concludes our Freedom Trail adventure. So again, I picked out 19. Lots of guides online go between 16 and 23 stops, and we were very easily
led by the brick trail that will take you all along the Freedom Trail, and you can just choose what different sites you want to go visit.
Some are paid to go in, some are free to go in. This is free to go climb those 294 steps. Just make sure that you get here to start your climb before 4:30 p.m. And can't wait to see you on the next adventure.